Hi everyone, I'm Donna Stellhorn, your practical astrologer, and today we are looking at the full moon. It's on December 4. This full moon is at 13 degrees of Gemini. We're going to do a short overview and then we're going to look at your sign and what's ahead for you. So aspects are the way that planets talk to each other, and with this full moon at 13 degrees, we see that it is not really talking to any other planets except between themselves, the sun and the moon. Now, the orb that I give for planets talking to each other is 7 degrees, and that I give for even aspects like semi-sextile and inconjunct. For a sesquiquadrant or a semi-square, I squeeze it down to 3 degrees. But you can see on this aspect grid here that while the sun is opposing the moon, they're not making any other aspects save one, which is that exact square to the north node and the south node. So I cleared off everything else off the chart, and so you can see this very clearly, how it's actually forming a grand cross. So a grand cross is 4 squares with 2 oppositions. So we can see that here are our squares, and then our oppositions, and that forms our grand cross. And what a grand cross feels like is that you are in perpetual motion. The one square leads to the next square, leads to the next square, leads to the next square. So here with this full moon, what we have is there's a constant choice over and over and over again, or in succession perhaps, which is, are you going to choose what is familiar and easy, south node, or are you going to do your life path but do the harder thing, pull yourself out of your comfort zone and move forward? And involved in this is the sun and moon, which is one side the moon is needs and the other side the sun is ego. And so there's a combat, this part of you going on that says, this is my identity. And so if your identity is the explorer, the adventurer, you're going to go towards that north node. If your identity is, I don't want to do anything new, I want it to be comfortable and easy, you're going to go towards that south node. And so from this perspective, everyone is getting this choice right now over this 2-week period of saying, everything else doesn't matter. What are you going to do with your life? What are your goals? What are your aspirations? And that will help you shift your identity and fulfill your needs. Now, the other planets aren't quiet completely. They're talking with themselves. So think of this as like you're at a party and you could decide who you're going to be at that party. Are you going to be the person who goes out and mingles with all of these people that you don't know, maybe finding new connections for a relationship, a friendship, some sort of business collaboration? Or are you going to stay by the punch bowl and just watch the crowd and stay to yourself? So that's the north node, south node, sun, moon dynamic going on. The rest of the party that's going on is these other planets. And one of the things that we see is this ongoing energy of this grand trine, which is starting to form at the time of this full moon. Is this always so beneficial? No, I don't think so. I think that it makes things easier, and that means that it makes the good things happen easier. It makes the bad things happen easier. So the bottom line about this full moon is that you're either saying, it doesn't matter what's going on in the world, I'm going to go do what I want to do. Or if you're waiting for the world to open up and the economy to shift, or for the phone to ring or something like that, it says don't do that, because you're doing that grand cross that says take action. And the way to take action is to go out and pursue what it is that you want. And as you do, you find out if that's truly what you want. Is it the north node that you're doing? Or is it the south node that you're doing? And if it's the south node, you say, that's not what I want. You let it go and you move on to the next thing. And you keep moving forward until this clunk, clunk, clunk of the grand cross turns into something that's smooth and moves you forward. Okay, Aquarius, let's look at your love and money predictions. And so we're going to start by changing the house system to 0 Aries chart, and then I want to turn the chart so Aquarius is on the ascendant, and so these predictions are for Aquarius and Aquarius rising. And of course the first thing we want to talk about is that this new moon is, whoops, lost my pen, this new moon is falling in your house of creativity, self-expression, and risk-taking, and that is, it's time to kind of shake things up a little bit and expand your comfort zone. This is a time to be thinking about showing your creativity or yourself to the world. This is time to step up on stage and take the microphone. So this is where we see this new moon, full moon opposing this very nice house of community. So that means that you're going to be well received. As you put things out into the world, the majority of people are really going to like it and support what you're doing. And then this could further fuel create more creativity and more opportunities. With your chart too, we also want to mention Uranus, which is back in Taurus, and Uranus is such a disruptor, but it is your sign ruler, and that means that you are a person who understands disruption and how valuable it can be to shake up the status quo, to do things differently. Now, Uranus has gone back into your 4th house, and that is about home and family and foundations. And looking at what it is that you're building, and if you are building some sort of structure or business or monument to something that you no longer want, it is okay to walk away from that and move on to something else, or at least gather up the building materials that you have and start constructing in a different fashion. This Uranus is making continues to make this sextile to Neptune and Saturn, and a sextile to Jupiter. So on the one side you have the blueprints, the things of this is it, what I want to create, and then on the other side Jupiter says let's expand. And so this is about checking the blueprints, what's the next step, and then go out and do that, and then check the blueprints, what's the next step, and go out and do that. Now, Uranus is also going to make an opposition to Mercury, and that is wide right now, but that is tightening up during this 2-week period. And that is that sometimes when you're saying, I'm going to try this, I'm going to try that, you get some support, and sometimes you get some blocks. And you may, with the people who are saying, oh, this is not going to work, or I don't want you to go this way, you may have to sit down with them and do some sort of compromise. Now, all of that is possible because this Mercury makes a trine to Saturn and a trine to Jupiter, forming a grand trine, and you can see our kite pattern has formed. Now, you've been doing this kite pattern on and off all through November. This is just another hit of this, and this is your opportunity to fly the kite in the direction you want through your ideas and communication, Mercury. So as you do, then you can direct the kite to where you want it to go. So this is very much about deciding this is the direction I want to go. I'm not going to be dissuaded. Like, what are your plans? What's your 5-year plan? What's your 2-year plan? And when you think about those things, even if you don't know how to get to them, even if you don't really know if that's exactly what you want, you're pointing yourself in a general direction, and that's good. That then gives the universe something then to give you signposts and help along the way. Now, when it comes to love relationships, specifically new love, we want to know what's going on with the 5th house, and that has the full moon in it, so there's a spotlight on this area. So that does indicate that it's time to look at how you're going about it, how you feel about the whole dating thing, how you feel about how you're meeting people. Is this the best method? What are your friends saying? Are they giving you different advice? And additionally, we want to see what the ruler of the 5th house, that would be Mercury, rules Gemini, so that would be Mercury, is doing in the chart. And that Mercury is making an opposition to Uranus, your planet ruler, and Saturn, your co-planet ruler. So with these two aspects, you have an enormous amount of energy for meeting someone new. This is a great 2-week period, especially if you've started some sort of discussion with them online already, or if this is a place you've been to before, if you've got an invitation for a party or a community event or something. This would be the time to go. Now, when it comes to existing love relationships, we want to know what's happening between the first house ruler and the 7th house ruler. That would be the Sun and Uranus, and we have no aspect going on. That means that there is kind of a disconnect between you and your partner right now. That disconnect could be that one of you is traveling, and so they're not really communicating, or one of you is working some really long hours, so you can't really be communicating right now, or you're just working on your own separate projects. Now, of course, this energy will line up very nicely in the future. So if you're trying to work out something, it's just that it's not even that you're on a different page or that you have different goals. Your attention is elsewhere. And so until your attention or the priorities are reset, it's hard to work out things at this time. Now, when it comes to your money, you pull money from both Neptune, so which is back in your house of money, and Jupiter, which is back in your house of work. Well, actually, it's been in your house of work, and it's going to be there for some time, I think until next June. And so this is very much of, all right, if you get the work done, then you make the money, and then the money facilitates you hiring people that they can then multiply you, and you can get more work done, etc., and more money gets made. And so both of these planets are part of the grand trine. It does look like you have great ideas right now that you can get support and help, basically on that very practical level, not this high level, concepts, but someone to sit by you and say, okay, this is how we change the website. So the things that you want to do is activate that grand trine, and that is to really ask for what it is that you're looking for, whether it's in a job or in your business, and to actively sit down and think about, what do I need to get my dream going when it comes to finances? With an astrology reading, you get more information about who you are, your talents and abilities. You get to see what obstacles are ahead, and you can get a game plan for how to get past those obstacles and find success. So if you're interested in having a reading, there's a link in the description. Now, when it comes to money from business or from investments, we want to know if the ruler of the 2nd house is having a conversation with the ruler of the 8th house, and that would be Neptune and Mercury, or Jupiter and Mercury. Sorry, I couldn't get that out for a second. And of course, these guys are in a grand trine together. The grand trine energy is wonderful, well, on its own, but it's when you activate it that it's the best. And activating it is where you do something that is focused and intentional in a direction. So that is giving it a little bit of a push. So I've seen grand trines activated in the past, where the person was a little bit unconscious of it, and seen them get some good results. But when a person actually says, okay, this is the time I'm going to do my marketing, or I'm going to meet with my investment advisor, or I'm going to investigate this brand new type of investment, that's where we see just magic happen. And then when it comes to money derived from career, so that would be a paycheck, we have a wonderful 11th house here lined up with Venus, Sun, and Mars, so you have a lot of great activity there. Additionally, we want to know what the ruler of the 11th is doing with the ruler of the 2nd house, and that is Neptune and Jupiter, and they're in a trine. So we have extraordinary energy right now for your career. That means you could get a new job, you could get a new position within the company, you can get more money. So this is a time to have that discussion. And by the way, with such harmonious energy, if you are blocked, if you go to your supervisor and they say there's no way, you can't move up in this company, you're not going to get more money, that's your clear sign from the universe to move on. And as much as you might say, oh, I don't want to move on, the universe has a better option for you. The universe will open that up for you, but you must actually take the action and give it the little bit of a push. So this is great energy. You're doing it for 2 weeks. So if you are looking for making more money in your career, this is a time to open up those discussions. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video. I recently did a class of predictions for 2026. There is now 17 videos that you can access. There is a link to get access to those videos. I also put out a weekly newsletter, an illustrated newsletter. And so if you like astrology and you love black cats, this is the newsletter for you. That newsletter is free. There's a link in the description, and I will see you in the next video.